Well, welcome everybody. This is another episode of The Buzz with Mr. Hornby, and just to give you a kind of a feel of what's going on at Elrod. And today I have a couple of friends here with me, Ellie and Miss Cookie, as you know her, but Lisa, Miss Vandehey. And so they are with Logan Health, and they work right here in our building, and so they're going to share some things too. The topic of this month is resilience, which is a big word when you're talking about, we have 4-year-olds to 11-year-olds in the building, and that word resilience is difficult really for all of them. And as a matter of fact, I mean, you think about it, there are a lot of adults who have a hard time being resilient with things, and so we want to help students as best we can to have some skills that they can bounce back from things that are tough. And so I'm going to give you a few ideas here. I'm not going to say that I was a great parent or anything, but something that I did well with my kids on was at least giving them some skills so they can bounce back from tough things. Not that that's foolproof, but some things that we focus on when we talk about this are, number one is allowing our students to fail. And we learn so much from making mistakes. I think you as adults can think about times that you learn from a situation because you don't want to repeat what you did. And so it's okay to allow students to fail. Another is we want to really encourage students to solve problems for themselves. This is hard because they don't always have the background, but we want to encourage them. Sometimes we give them a few prompts to go into a situation where they can solve things for themselves. Another is for you, and I know you do this an awful lot, but really be conscientious about setting boundaries for your kids. We do that all the time in this building. We say things like, when you get this done, then you can do that. Or one that I say an awful lot is, the student is refusing to do what we ask. I say, you can change your mind anytime. I'll come back and check on you in a little bit. And so it's setting some kind of boundary because we're really saying, eventually we want you to do this. And so you can do that at home too. Another one is helping students, and not that every adult's great at this, but I know I'm not always great at this, but helping students to appropriately respond to an emotion. You know, it's the idea of you get mad and so you throw something. That's not an appropriate response. Getting mad is okay, but then trying to manage through it is what's important, and that's something that we can all help kids that deal with as adults. And then the other thing, and this is probably the most important one, that I'd like to think we do a great job of, but we're human, so this last one is modeling what you expect to see of students. And so all of these things help to build students' skills when it comes to, you deal with something tough, somebody calls you a name, somebody trips you. A big one for my family was our house burned down. Those are things, things happen in life, and if we bury our head or throw temper tantrums, it doesn't solve anything. And so we are trying to help students to manage those kinds of things that come up in their lives. Hopefully not as big as a house fire or anything, but something big that might come up that helps them deal with situations. So I've asked my friends here to share some other thoughts on that too. So thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, we agree with much of what Mr. Hornby said, including when your kids are struggling and they're really mad and they hit something, tell them this is not for hitting. If you're really mad, you can hit a pillow, you can hit the couch, something that's safe to hit, until they learn other ways to productively manage their emotions. Miss Cookie and I also have a variety of books both from my personal library and from the library here. One of my favorite series of books is called A Kid's Book About. And this one particular is a kid's book about failure. And some of the other books in the series that I really like are a kid's book about emotions and about self-love and about change. And they're really good books to read with your kids, open up conversations, and talk about other topics that are really important for kids. They have a whole variety of topics. If you just search a kid's book about, they'll come up. I also love Mo Williams, the Gerald and Piggy, or Piggy and Elephant. This one in particular is My Friend is Sad, and it just talks through, one of the Gerald is sad and he really wants to talk to his friend, and Piggy sees him and Piggy's trying to cheer him up, and mostly he's just sad that his friend's not around. So good ways to just talk to your kids about emotions. And then Jamie Lee Curtis has a couple books. It's Hard to Be 5, and I'm Gonna Like Me, which are both really good books to talk to kids about. Sometimes it's just hard to be a kid. And then Cookie has some.
The librarian shared a ton of books, more than we can even talk about, and she encouraged you as a parent to come in and say, hey, what books would you recommend for my child who's in 3rd grade or 4th grade? Strongly encourage read aloud to your children. And the other thing I just wanted to add that Mr. Hornby talked about was including your kids in problem solving. Like, we all have problems, and let them be in on the conversation. Don't send them to the bedroom and say, we have a problem, you go to the bedroom, we're not going to talk about it. Model the process of identifying the problem, talking about the options, and coming up with an idea that might solve the problem, and include them and ask them for their ideas. A really, really simple thing for resilience is making sure your kids have nutritious food to eat, drinking water, sleeping. My resilience goes to near 0 if I'm overtired and I haven't had enough water. So simple stuff like that. You guys are doing a great job out there, and we're here to support you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call, and we'll do what we can to answer your questions. Thank you.
So that is our topic for the month here. It is it's kind of a difficult topic, can be pretty deep, and really kind of difficult for adults to really get to the point with kids, so that they understand. But whatever we do, helping them to learn from their mistakes or whatever, and just letting them sometimes flounder a bit so that they can figure out how to get out of it, those are all great skills that will benefit them later in life. And so if you have any questions, please email me about that, and then we'll see you probably in a couple weeks. Have a great day.